What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be going over all of the kill streaks that we currently know about in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I realize I'm definitely not the first to go through and cover this list, but this is a video that I've had planned and scheduled for a long time, so that's just going to have to be the case. I mainly just wanted to share my opinion on a lot of these kill streaks in this game. So as always with these early videos, big thank you to Activision for flying me out, putting me up at a hotel so I could come and capture this gameplay early for you guys. And let's just start kicking it off and going through the list. The first kill streak that we have that requires 3 kills without hardline and 2 kills with hardline is the personal radar. So with this one, it's the UAV, so you call it in, you get your UAV, however, it only works for yourself. Now, I'm kind of torn on how I feel about this. Of course, without the minimap being in this game, this personal UAV is an incredibly powerful streak because it is the lowest streak in the game, and the minimap is such an important tool that if you're not using this personal UAV, I honestly feel like you're doing something wrong. The problem I have with this, though, is Call of Duty players can often be pretty selfish, and therefore I feel like a lot of people are going to be choosing this personal UAV rather than a standard UAV, and this isn't going to be helping the team out at all. I kind of think it would be better if there was just one standard UAV at 3 kills for everybody on the team, and they would just do away with this personal radar idea. However, at the same time, assuming they are going to keep it as it is right now, where there will be no minimap by default in core game modes, I completely welcome every opportunity we can get to earn a minimap. And therefore, at least in the game state that we played, if it turns out that's going to be what the standard game is like, my first 2 kill streaks, every single game I play will be personal UAV and regular UAV, so I can keep that minimap up for as long as possible. And I do feel that's going to be a problem. I strongly feel both of the UAVs will be absolute crutches in this game. But enough about that, let's get into the second streak, which is the counter UAV. We don't really need to talk about this one too much. It's just a standard sort of a counter UAV, which is a great streak, especially for a lower end streak. After that, we have the standard UAV, which is like the personal radar, but this time it actually works for your entire team, not just one person. Also in that 4 kill streak slot, we have the care package, which is just the standard care package. You throw in the little flare, care package gets dropped in, and it gives you a randomized kill streak. This would be a good time to point out as well, for those of you guys that don't know, you'll see that you have the different sections. So you have 3 different streaks that are worth 4 kills. The UAV, the counter UAV, and the care package. In this game, at least in its current state, you can only choose 1 streak from each one of these sections. So you can't use both a UAV and a counter UAV, or you can't use a UAV and a care package. And this is pretty interesting design. I actually think in some ways this will be a very good thing because there will be a certain trade-off to choosing one streak over another streak. However, at the same time, I do feel like it just limits options as well, and I don't know if that's really the greatest idea to be limiting options. What if you want to run a UAV as well as a counter UAV? So this is something that I think we need more playtime with for me to really form a strong opinion on. I think it could go either way. But getting into the 5 kill streak section, first off we have the cluster strike, which right here you can see that you call it in by shining a laser on a certain area, and then after you confirm that, it takes a few seconds, but then you just see that that exact point just gets absolutely bombarded. Now this isn't like a sweeping airstrike by any means, it is one very specific point that this will come in on, but this will be great in like domination for instance. Pop this on the B flag, and you'll have that B flag completely defended for a short period of time at least. After that, we have the cruise missile, which is once again a 5 kill streak. And with this one, it's the closest thing to like a Hellstorm strike, for instance. Although it doesn't split up and spread out and take out a bunch of people. Instead, it's more so just good for like 1 to 2 kills most of the time. Of course, if you get the timing just right, you could potentially end up getting more. But the benefit of this one is you can call it in from anywhere on the map and attack anywhere on the map, essentially, or at least any outdoor areas. Moving on to the next one, this is the precision airstrike, and once again this is in the 5 kill streak slot, and with this one you bring up this spotting scope and you mark an area, and then you see there's like a sweeping airstrike that comes in, and this one does cover more than just that one concentrated point. It actually does a bit of a sweep, so I do feel this one has the most potential to get multiple kills with in the 5 kill streak section. But at the same time, it is a risk to use this. It does actually take about a second or two to confirm that you're calling in that streak. And during that time, you're completely defenseless and usually out in the open to call that in. That's something I realized with this streak, and one of the reasons I don't think I'll be using it is most of the time when I tried to call one in, I would get myself killed at the same time, and it just wasn't worth using. But that's it for the 5 kill streaks. Now let's move on to the 7 kill streak slot, With this, we've got the Wheelson, which is this little mini tank that you can drive around, and it's got some cannons on it, and you basically just drive around and kill people with it. Pretty straightforward sort of a streak, definitely got some power to it. It is quite fast, that's one thing I noticed. You can get around the map quite quickly with this thing, and therefore I think it's actually quite a powerful streak. After that, also in that 7 streak category, we have the Infantry Assault Vehicle. And this one is literally a tank. And with this one, you call it in basically just like a care package. You mark a spot on the ground, it gets dropped in from the sky, then you have to go and capture it to get into it, which does make me think that there is a possibility for enemies to steal this from you. If you call it in and an enemy kills you, they could potentially steal this from you, I think. I can't confirm that at this point, but it does seem like a possibility. But in either case, with this tank, the driver has their own gun and they can drive around, but also a passenger can hop in as well. So you can have up to 2 people in this, only one person needs to earn it, and you can just cruise around and kill anybody that's out in the open. One thing that I'm not 100% sure about with this as well is how it's going to work on the slightly smaller maps. I believe it's going to be restricted on certain maps because there were a couple maps that we played where it just wouldn't be viable to be using one of these tanks. There's nowhere to drive around. It's not big enough to drive the tank around on. So at this point, at least, I'm not too sure how they're going to handle that. As for my opinion on the streak overall, I think it is a little bit on the gimmicky side. I don't see myself ever using this tank. It's too big for these maps. It's too cumbersome. I would much rather be using one of those Wheelsons and zipping around the map and through corridors and everything really quickly. But that's just my initial impression of this. Maybe it turns out by the time the game launches, I'll absolutely love this thing. So moving into the 8 kill streak category, first up we have an emergency airdrop, which is just like the emergency airdrop from the past, where you call it in just like a care package, but instead of 1 care package, you get 3 of them. After that, also in the 8 kill streak section, this is the VTOL jet. And holy crap, this thing looks really good. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to use this at the event, but just looking at the preview of it, what it is it's an airstrike that will come in and it will do 1 pass with an airstrike, which has the potential to kill enemies. Then it will do a loop and it becomes the Harrier from Modern Warfare 2, so it will hover around and just be taking people out like crazy. This one is shaping up to potentially be my favorite lethal kill streak in the game. Especially at just 8 kills, it seems like it's got quite a bit of power and killing potential, and I'm really looking forward to properly trying this out once we get to the beta. Next up, let's move into the 10 kill streak category, and first up we have the Chopper Gunner, and this looks also quite powerful. This definitely isn't the Chopper Gunner from Modern Warfare 2, where it would fly itself around and you would just bombard everything. This is more like the Gunship from Black Ops 1, so you can actually fly this around for yourself, you can steer it all you want. You have your standard machine gun that you can take people out with, but you also have missiles if you want to fire missiles at your enemies. This one definitely seems like it's also got quite a bit of power and a lot of killing potential. Next up in the 10 kill streak slot, this is White Phosphorus, which has been quite controversial, and I find that to be a little bit ridiculous. But with this one, you call in basically this airstrike that comes in with this chemical attack, and it creates certain zones where you have this White Phosphorus. If enemies get anywhere near those zones, it will kill them over time, and this actually changes the entire look of the map as well. As long as it's active, it creates sort of a fog basically everywhere on the map. Now with this, it's definitely great at cutting off lanes and stuff. You can call it across certain areas and it will completely block off lanes. However, I just don't see it having the same sort of killing potential as the Chopper Gunner, which requires the same number of kills to get. Next up, in the 11 kill streak slot, we only have 1 streak here so far at least, and this is the Support Helo, and this is basically like the Pavlo streak from Modern Warfare 2. It's a very large helicopter that comes in on the map. You don't have to do anything with it, it just goes around killing people. Getting into the next one, this is the 12 kill streak section, and this is the Gunship, which is basically just the AC-130 from the past. Same sort of AC-130 that we're used to from like the Modern Warfare 2 days, for instance. And of course, as long as the map is relatively open, this is going to be a very powerful kill streak. Also in that 12 kill streak section, we've got the Advanced UAV. And with this one, it is still a sweeping UAV, so it's not quite like the VSAT that Treyarch games tend to have, where everything is perfectly in real time. It does sweep, but it does show enemy direction as well, so it shows the direction they're facing. One thing that we are still a little bit unclear about, and I'm sure we'll find this out once the beta comes around, or maybe even somebody at the event was able to confirm this, but as of right now at least, we are unsure if Ghost will counter this or not. Personally, I hope Ghost will not be a counter to the Advanced UAV. and you will be able to see ghost users, simply because this is quite a high kill streak. This is a 12 kill streak, and if it were completely negated by a perk like that, then I probably would never bother using the advanced UAV. But with that, we have one more kill streak that we at least had available in the build that we played, and this is the Juggernaut, the current highest streak in the game at a 15 kill streak. With this one, you call it in literally exactly like a care package. It looks like a care package when it's coming in. It will drop this package down to the ground, but you go and capture that, and that's where the Juggernaut suit is. As soon as you capture it, it immediately puts this suit on. You get some heavy metal music playing in the background, and you just go around moving quite slowly with this big minigun, just destroying everything in your path. I did have the opportunity to use this back in May when I first played the game, and first off, I gotta say the heavy metal music that plays when you're using this is such a nice touch. It makes it feel so intense when you're using this. However, one thing I noticed, especially on bigger maps, is you move extremely slow with this, and I often found myself chasing the action and not being able to get there in time before the action flipped to a different area. Of course, I definitely think there should be this trade-off. You should be slowed down because you have a ton of health with this Juggernaut suit, and that minigun is very, very powerful as well. So anybody that gets in your way, you should be able to mow them down with no issue whatsoever. But with that, that's the current kill streak list that we have access to in Modern Warfare so far. Now, personally, I don't anticipate we'll be seeing many more kill streaks in this. This is probably pretty much the full list. However, if you guys watch the trailer, it looks like there's definitely a tactical nuke coming to the game. We don't have any information about this, though. I don't know if they're going to go the Modern Warfare 2 route, where you have to actually equip it as one of your streaks, and it'll be like a 25 kill streak. Or perhaps it'll be more of like the hidden style streak that's always active in the background, and you have to get like a 25 gun streak in order to earn it. Additionally, we don't know if that nuke will end up being a game-ending nuke, or if it will just be like a Moab, for instance, where it kills everybody on the enemy team, but the match goes on after that. Personally, I lean more towards that Moab-style streak where it's always on in the background for everybody, you don't have to use one of your kill streak slots for it, and only gun kills count. And also, I do prefer if it's not game-ending. Although in Team Deathmatch, I could totally see an argument for it being game-ending, and I think that would be just fine, but in objective game modes, I definitely prefer if it's not a game-ending nuke. But that's just my opinion, and this is where I want to leave it to you guys. What do you guys think about the current kill streaks that we have access to in Modern Warfare? And also, what kind of nuke would you prefer to see in this game? Do you want it to be the Modern Warfare 2 style, or do you prefer more of the Moab style? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more Modern Warfare content if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah.